Yeah. So I think like tell me a little bit about just generally how you approach collections and maybe how that like that whole learning process was like too.
I tend to weigh my flips, short term, medium term, and long term.
Hmm.
And we'll start with the short term flips, right? Short term means, for me at least, I don't want to hold anything for longer than a day, right?
Wow. Okay.
So that means when I'm looking at my purchases and what to buy, I'm looking at, there's some key metrics that I try to use, right? I try to use there's obviously some influencers, right? Some alpha
Hmm.
callers from certain communities that their calls are pretty spot on. So I try to tend to lean that way. So like
Hmm.
I never want to be the one that hits that mint button first because I want to see the tokens rolling through. So I know it's not malicious. And so I use some tools for that, right? I want to watch volume. So I want
Hmm.
to know how many sales are happening per minute. So I paid for a Blockprobe pass. The paid version gives you 5 minute and 15 minute increments of mints that are happening.
Oh, interesting.
Whereas Icy Tools, if you just have like the regular membership, it just shows you the trending mints in the last 30 minutes, right?
Hmm.
But everything could be sold out in 30 minutes, right? And as a flipper, you want to get in there on the mint, especially now with the degen meta, because everything's free, right?
Hmm.
So if I can get in on a hot free mint before it sells out, then it's only profit from there.
Hmm.
So that's what the real handy features of having one of those services like Blockprobe or Icy Tools is the ability to see things happening. And then this is what Blockprobe is, right? So Blockprobe, I'm connected. I can see trending projects in the last 15 minutes, their sales volumes and the average price. And then I can check trending projects in the last 5 minutes. We go to mints. We got the same thing, right? We also have Deal Spotter. Deal Spotter is pretty cool because it'll just show listings as they appear on OpenSea, right?
Hmm.
So sometimes I can just keep this open, and if I see a hot project on the left hand side that's cheap, I can just click on it, bring it up, and buy it,
Hmm.
right? And again, I don't have to go to OpenSea to buy it. I don't have to click all the confirmations. I can click buy now. It'll show up in my MetaMask approval, and it's through. Another tool that I use is a website called Hot Contracts. And what Hot
Hmm.
Contracts does is it'll show you the latest Ethereum contracts that have been launched. So usually if a new NFT project's launching, within the first hour before it launches, you'll see the contract posted on Etherscan, right?
Hmm.
You could dig through Etherscan to try to find it, but there's the website that does it for you. Otherwise, you're just going to be searching forever.
Right.
So I want to watch volume on that, and I want to watch holder count, right? The last thing I want to do is buy into a 10,000 PFP project that only has 100 holders, right?
Hmm.
Because that could be, it's bad on my end, right? Buying into that because they could brick the floor by dropping all of them at once, right?
Hmm.
However, if I can get into a mint first, I want to mint 100 of them,
Hmm.
right? So that I can brick the floor,
Got it. Yeah.
right? Because that's where the most profit is. And you always want to, at least in my opinion, right? You want to cover your costs first. So
Hmm.
if I'm able to get into a mint first and mint 20 or 30 of them, I may list them at the floor. Maybe the floor price is 0.01. Maybe the floor price is 0.005, $3,
Hmm.
whatever. If it's a free mint, that's going to cover my gas. And then I can let it ride. But I have to watch volume. With degen mints, you can't leave your computer, right? I can't
Hmm.
just, I need to step to the bathroom for 15 minutes. Like that cannot happen because the floor price can just start tumbling.
So when you're doing this, do you set aside time? Do you like are you at your desk with like multiple monitors and do you like block out a certain amount of time to do this or is it more spontaneous or fluid than that?
If I'm sitting at the computer, I'm probably watching mints and I'm probably looking for something like
Hmm.
that. And then if I find something like that, everything else is wiped off the table.
Hmm.
If I have a commitment, within an hour after that, I'm probably not going to mint anything.
Hmm.
I don't like FOMO because every day there's a new mint, right? So that's
Hmm.
like one of the beautiful things is like if I miss a hot mint today, I don't care. There's tomorrow. People get mad
Yeah.
about it. People will
Yeah.
try to buy into that project tomorrow or the day after, and it's like, it's dead already, you know? So like usually there's two main times, right, that I like to degen. I wake up at the ass crack of dawn at 4:30 a.m. every day. So that's like Asian time, it's late night, right? But they love to degen too on that side of the world, right? So if I'm up at like 4:30 in the morning, I can catch those late night Eastern Hemisphere degen mints. And then in the evening time, you know, I'll just watch, right? If I'm at home watching TV, why not just have my laptop up? And then if I see something, I can just diddle it in real quick and then hold it and relist it. So that's what I do for time wise. There's never like, all right, it's 3 o'clock, it's degen now, right? It's just, it's more difficult to pull off a successful mint in the evening time because the US is awake. And you've got thousands of people. Now, I also use tools, right? I have bots that I use to mint. So those help sometimes. If I can find a contract before it launches and I can see that it's hyped based on Twitter, based on activity, based on what influencers are saying, I'll grab that contract. I'll throw ETH into my burner wallet with my bot access, and I'll set up the transaction. So as soon as that contract goes live, it mints for me. Whether or not you think botting is fair or not, right? It's going to happen regardless. So you either do it or you don't. So the second part of being able to successfully bot something is you got to have a node that's quick, right? So when you hit send on MetaMask, right, and you send a transaction and you click on the transaction and you open up Etherscan, it says pending, right? It's on the way to what's the mempool, and the mempool is where all the transactions sit to get picked up by miners, right? So this is where gas fees come into play, right? If you have a higher gas fee, a miner is going to grab your transaction quicker. Having a private node or access to a private node gives you a faster on-ramp into the mempool. Meaning that if there's a hyped mint and you hit send to mint, it may take 30, 45 seconds before you even see pending, right? When you see pending, it's in the mempool. Sometimes it may take a minute and a half before you even get confirmation that it's been pending, right? So the private node is it's just a service, right, that uses a private node, which is just will send your transaction quicker to the mempool because it's less populated. Think of it as the HOV lane on a highway, right? You can go faster and you don't get stuck in traffic. Right. So there's services like QuickNode that provide you that you can pay monthly for. You pay $10 a month for QuickNode to get access to your own private node that only you use, right? A big advantage of this, right, is it sometimes, right, can beat the gas war. Meaning, let's say I have a bot set up to send a transaction as soon as a mint goes live, right? You can pre-sign the transaction in the bot, so it'll just send it. If your node is quick enough, you can beat the gas war. So whereas whereas it may be the hottest drop like Moonbirds, right, where people are spending 2 ETH on gas. If you got a fast enough node, you can pay a normal gas fee and just get it there. Right, and beat the whole gas war. So it's a little unfair to regular minters nowadays. If they're trying to get in on a hyped mint.
When you're doing short-term flips, is it primarily focused on minting, or do you also do anything with just buying an existing listing and then flipping that, or is that going more into like the medium or long term?
No, definitely. I try to keep maybe 5 or 6 projects that are current that I watch, just so I can get a rolling average of what the floor price is. And if I see one dip below enough, I'll grab it and I'll list it. That short-term flip might turn into a mid-term flip, right? It happens. It's just the most profits right now are with the degen mints and the free mints.